Hello and welcome to the latest episode of The Fan Stand. This is your local adda where you get to listen to two fans discussing cricket just the way it is with all their raw and honest opinions. And currently, we're discussing the ICC Men's T20 World Cup. We're just done with the group stage, and in this video, we're going to be doing a quick review of that India versus Netherlands group stage game, and then we're going to talk about whatever is going to happen, whatever our predictions are, whatever our feelings are with the Super 8, and we will cover India versus South Africa, the first Super 8 fixture for India. And again, like always, I'm joined by a very special guest on this episode, Puneet Singh Sidhu. Ustad ji,
मेरे
what's up?
हम ठीक है, बढ़िया। आप बताएं बताएं। सब तो स्पेशल क्या ही रह गया, आपको पता ही है कि सेम बंदा आएगा हर वीडियो में।
नहीं नहीं यार,
नो
तो
नीड टू
तुम
से स्पेशल।
तुम हमेशा मेरे लिए स्पेशल हो यार।
चलो, वो तो दीदी को मस्का लगाने के लिए है, छोड़ो।
नो नो दीदी को मस्का जो है वो चैनल पे नहीं लगता। दीदी को मस्का फिर अलग से मेरे को लगाना पड़ता है ऑफ द कैमरा।
ठीक है डन। थैंक यू सो मच मेरे को फिर से एक मौका देने के लिए।
नहीं नहीं, मौका क्या है यार, आप ही का शो है, जब मर्जी आओ जाओ।
हम्म।
बट उस्ताद, आई एम रियली रिलीव्ड कि फाइनली अब ग्रुप स्टेज जो है अब खत्म हो गया, एंड थोड़ा आई फील अब उस स्टेज पर पहुंच रहे हैं जहां पर थोड़े से इंटरेस्टिंग मैचेस होंगे, मैचेस जो इतने वन साइडेड नहीं होंगे। थोड़ा टीम्स भी जो है आपस में दे विल बी टेस्टिंग ईच अदर। व्हाट डू यू फील?
यार वैसे भी देखा जाए, इवन इन जो पिछला जो स्टेज थे, चार स्टेजेस थे, ग्रुप स्टेज बनाए गए थे, तो मेरे हिसाब से इतना भी वन साइडेड गेम्स नहीं थे। लाइक
राइट,
गिवन लाइक देवर ओनली लाइक से लाइक couple of those, but still I think they were pretty decent matches जो भी हुए हैं।
राइट,
and some of them were shockers as well for us।
राइट,
और अब लगता है कि अब तो मतलब बिल्कुल it's gonna be नेक टू नेक। तो और अच्छा
राइट,
जा रहा आपको कंपेरेटिवनेस दिखने को मिलेगा, और ज्यादा कट थ्रोट कंपटीशन दिखेगा आपको।
right. I do agree with you to that, to your point about the associate nations. Um,
हम्म।
because teams like USA, Namibia, Zimbabwe, um, even Nepal, like these are teams that have done exceptionally well. Like किसी ने सोचा नहीं था कि ये मैचेस वहां फंसाएंगे जहां इन्होंने फंसाए हैं।
नहीं, मैं भी वही कहूंगा कि इतनी उम्मीद से नहीं था। आई वाज नॉट एक्सपेक्टिंग व्हाट हैपेंड।
Right,
बट जो भी हुआ, लाइक आई थिंक इट्स गुड फॉर द गेम ऑफ द cricket, and good
right,
to know that even the associate nations are doing well, and they
right.
are trying to become better day by day.
हाँ,
And I hope that, like how Zimbabwe proved us wrong, other nations as well in the coming tournaments, they prove us wrong.
right. I'm so glad you brought out Zimbabwe because we do have to discuss about what Zimbabwe has done in this World Cup so far. But just before we move on, um, I think India, because they're playing such a dominating brand of cricket for the last 2 years, and World Cup में they're the clear favorites. मैं अपनी अगर बात करूं, मेरे को ऑनेस्टली यार इंडिया के मैचेस देखने में मुझे उतना मजा नहीं आ रहा है, क्योंकि कोई थ्रिल नहीं आ रहा है यार। कोई मतलब ऐसा लग नहीं रहा है कि कहीं मैच फंस रहा है, कहीं थोड़ा स्ट्रेस ऊपर जा रहा है। तो लाइक व्हाट आर योर फीलिंग्स ऑन दैट?
कोई नहीं, वेट करो। आई थिंक द 22nd of February is gonna probably prove us wrong in that match फंसेगा, the way South Africa has been playing the whole tournament.
राइट।
I have high hopes for that match.
आई थिंक बट कंपेयर टू इंडिया, साउथ अफ्रीका हैज एटलीस्ट हैड वन गेम जहां मैच इनका सीरियसली फंसा था, एंड दे स्टिल मैनेज टू पुल इट ऑफ, व्हिच वाज अगेंस्ट न्यूजीलैंड।
Afghanistan, no, even no, that was against Afghanistan.
अफगानिस्तान, सॉरी, या न्यूजीलैंड
Yeah,
वाला आई थिंक इट वाज
न्यूजीलैंड
अ
को तो
फेयरली इजी मैच।
New Zealand wala, like no, starting it I think it was really hard
या,
when New Zealand was going all in, but they managed to get 3 wickets in the power play then.
राइट,
Um, Kudos to what was his name, that guy, Marco Jansen.
राइट,
He brought it to a stop, and वो match, like I think if you are a cricket fan, you would have understood अगर वो साउथ अफ्रीका एक टाइम पे ऐसा लग रहा था कि न्यूजीलैंड इज गोना स्कोर अराउंड 220 or something easily.
राइट,
But the way they stopped the boundaries, the way they did some tight bowling according to the field, they restricted it down to 170 something. So
राइट,
because of that, it made it easy for the batsmen to attack and achieve the score within like 15, 16 overs.
राइट। Um, so Yeah, and that is gonna be India's next challenge. But before we move on to that, let's talk about Zimbabwe. Like, I really want to spend some time on Zimbabwe and what they've done in this World Cup.
Hmm.
Um, Ustad, when Zimbabwe beat Australia, and this was happening while we were recording. I think it was the India versus Namibia video. I think we were the
Probably,
match.
I think so, yes.
हाँ उस टाइम पर we were looking at the scores as well. यार उस टाइम पर जब जिम्बाब्वे जीती है थोड़ा सा ऐसे लगा that like we all admitted that this is not the ace Australian team. This is like a second string team because some very influential players have either retired or they were injured or they were unavailable. And Zimbabwe beating them felt like, okay, Australia has just had a one-off day, but they've gone on to top the table in their group. So like ऑस्ट्रेलिया के अगेंस्ट वो तुक्का तो नहीं लगा इनका फिर.
Like, given that Sri Lanka match,
Yeah,
like initially I thought, oh, चलो तुक्का लग गया, and उसके बाद आयरलैंड वाला गेम इनका वॉश आउट हो गया.
right,
So that technically made them कि हाँ भाई points मिल गए, चलो भाई we are the top team in the table now and we are qualified, because there were
right,
still hopes for Australia,
right.
because if Zimbabwe would have lost the other two matches, like against Sri Lanka, and which I thought they would have, like if I was looking into it just on in terms of कि Australia वाला match, मेरे को लगा चल तुक्का हो गया कि they'll lose to Sri Lanka, and what if Ireland beats Zimbabwe,
Right,
Australia still have a chance.
right. And
So
even like to add to it, the Sri
hmm,
Lanka Australia match also, Sri Lanka actually dominated that game. Like, except for the first 10 overs of the first innings where the Australian openers really were smacking the ball all around.
hmm,
बाकी के 30 overs, it was all Sri Lankan dominance. So to
hmm,
defeat that Sri Lankan team also is like a statement, you know? तुक्के नहीं लग
hmm,
रहे इनके.
hmm. Definitely. So the Zimbabwe people, like the team, has done great, and even the way Sikandar Raza is leading the team, he
Right,
mentioned that he mentioned that I'm not talking about the first and second best teams in Asia, or talking about in the world. So he mentioned that we are the second best team in Africa, and we are
right,
just here to prove a point.
right. And it is also like a very heartwarming story because for the longest time we've heard the name of Zimbabwe. Um, but I don't think Zimbabwe ever got their due respect. Like it was always looked upon as कि जिम्बाब्वे एक ऐसी टीम है सो जिस भी टीम को अपने स्टैट्स थोड़े से सही करने हैं या अपना विन रिकॉर्ड थोड़ा सा इंप्रूव करना है दे वुड ऑर्गेनाइज अ बायलैटरल सीरीज विद जिम्बाब्वे गो एंड बीट देम एंड देन बम्प अप देयर स्टैट्स.
Zimbabwe.
एग्जैक्टली. पूरे पूरे प्लेयर्स ने अपने करियर जो है वो जिम्बाब्वे के अगेंस्ट परफॉर्म करके खड़े किए हैं.
Hmm.
But it feels nice to look at this Zimbabwe team and see how far they've come. And they're actually knocking on the door for ICC and all the other major cricket boards that take us seriously and organize some matches with us, bilaterals with us, because
Hmm.
we want to be in this game.
No, definitely. I think that like I always had some hopes in the Zimbabwean team, because I still remember in 2022, or was it 2023? They had a ODI series against Australia, and
Right,
it was in Australia, and
right,
they eventually, okay, Australia won the series, but Zimbabwe, um, I remember they're beating Australia by a huge margin in one of the matches. So
right,
I thought that it's not that they're a bad team. It's just like, they haven't been exposed up to that level. And
right,
recently, I think they have been doing pretty well.
right. Also, like when you look at a team like Bangladesh or you look at a team like Afghanistan, I'm not too sure about Bangladesh, but Afghanistan definitely, as a team, entered cricket decades after Zimbabwe, and Afghanistan's come a long way. Like बहुत छोटे time period में they've made a lot of growth, but I feel nice. I feel nice just looking at this Zimbabwe team and being like, यार ये लोग इतने सालों से स्पोर्ट में हैं, they need their respect. And finally, they're getting it. And maybe they would be able to score like a few nice bilateral series against some better teams, which will improve the quality of their cricketers but also bring in a lot of money for that cricket board, which allows them to build their infrastructure and really become a challenger by the time we have our next T20 World Cup or our one day World Cup.
No, I support that fact. I think they do require the funding,
Right,
and उनको मतलब कि see it's and funding also it just goes like both ways. अगर आपकी cricket team but board को आपके भरोसा है, and if the government is like yeah they're seeing some progress, then only they can try to give you more funds to make the team better. But if they're
right,
not even seeing any potential, sometimes the government is like well, there's no point in spending it on them. And
right,
unfortunately, African nations are similar to some kind of Asian nation. I just don't want to name some,
right.
but corruption is the same that
It
prevails
is a
there.
big problem.
It's a big problem in African countries as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean they've qualified for the next stage. So like I want to segue smoothly into our next section,
Hmm.
where we want to talk about the Super Eights. Zimbabwe topped their group, but because of the preceding, Zimbabwe qualified in place of Australia. So they take their spot on the table that would have been Australia's. And what has happened because of that is they are right now in a group where they will have to compete against India, South Africa, and West Indies. Um, so what can we say for Zimbabwe? Like it's not gonna be easy, right?
Oh, definitely. It's gonna be easy. Seeing that West Indies is in the form of their life as well.
Right,
And India, South Africa. But don't even get me started कि जैसी cricket वो दोनों countries खेलती आ रही हैं in terms of any format across. Let's not talk about Test cricket for India, but yeah, बाकी the white ball cricket. It's going to be a tough competition, and I really want to see Zimbabwe at least win one of the matches,
right. Um, so
just to prove them that whatever they are doing, it's just not out of luck. It's not a fluke.
like they've actually come prepared for this World Cup.
Yes.
Right. So, um, looking at these teams, like there's India, South Africa, and West Indies, which is that one team just against Zimbabwe could actually score points.
Um, I think यार बहुत मुश्किल है सोच कहना. It's really hard given that कि ये तीनों countries ने ही अच्छा किया है यार अपने group stage में.
Right.
I'll go with probably West Indies.
Yeah, I agree with you. The West Indies was my first thought as well because um, even though West Indies is playing well in this World Cup, but West Indies has always also had the tendency to implode at totally unexpected moments. And um, West Indies is not known for its consistency, like especially considering the last 15-20 years. Um, so
Last 8 years. Let's say last 8 to 10 years.
I mean, as soon as the money went away from West Indies, their consistency also went away.
Yeah, but
Um,
no, because their players figured out it's not worth playing for the country, it's worth playing for the franchises.
right, exactly. Um, so yeah, but do you think there is like a 5% chance that they might actually end up beating India or South Africa? Or like that's no guaranteed ठप्पा लगा के कि नहीं ये दोनों टीमें तो they'll be able to tackle Zimbabwe.
Fingers crossed.
Okay,
Nothing else. I can't expect it, but like I have in my mind, it's a 99% chance that both of those countries are going to beat Zimbabwe. But
right,
still, 1% of me hopes that they might.
right. Um, all right, so let's shift our attention to Group 2 in the Super 8s,
Hmm.
um, which may not have the World Cup winning favorites, but I feel like the competition is far more challenging in this group. So you've got England, New Zealand, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, and
Hmm.
all four teams are kind of playing at the same level. Like बहुत ज्यादा difference नहीं है. So what are your expectations from this group? क्या लग रहा है कौन जाएगा आगे? कौन मैचेस फंसाएगा, कौन थोड़े अनएक्सपेक्टेड विक्ट्रीज भी शायद दे सकता है. Just your overall
The
thoughts.
match is gonna, in my opinion, matches थोड़े फसमे जैसे कह रहे हैं पंजाबी च, but
Right,
like it's gonna be really neck to neck कि बहुत ज्यादा, आपको लगेगा कि यार लास्ट ओवर्स में तक गेम जा रही है.
right,
That's what I believe it's gonna be because because players of these nations have the tendency that they can take it down to the last moment and can still snatch the win.
right,
तो आई थिंक ये लास्ट ओवर्स तक जाएगी इनकी गेम और बहुत अच्छे मैचेस देखने को मिलेंगे.
right,
एंड लाइक गिवन दैट आई थिंक पीपल विल थिंक दैट पाकिस्तान, इनके सारे मैचेस श्रीलंका में हो रहे हैं फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल.
right.
इज इट?
Pakistan has an unparalleled advantage in this World Cup. No, I
डेफिनेटली.
can't say anything against it because Champions Trophy maybe India had the exact same advantage. Like we were playing all our matches in Dubai.
हम्म.
So I mean, if it is
Yeah,
fair, it is fair.
let's not, yeah, it's fair in that terms, but फिर दिक्कत क्या हो सकती है कि depends upon the squad New Zealand and England have.
Right,
They will need to bring more spinners in. Like अभी
right,
तक you saw New Zealand had more of a fast bowler attack, in
right,
my opinion. And even England, like in England, only had Adil Rashid and couple of like I think like one more spinner I think in the
right,
squad, but it was mainly fast
right,
फास्ट बॉलर. सो आई थिंक इनको वही अभी देखना पड़ेगा स्पिन किससे करानी है. सो पाकिस्तान हैज एन एडवांटेज ओवर एवरीवन कि
right.
स्पिनर्स बहुत ज्यादा हैं. तो they might, who knows, Pakistan might win most of the matches, but according to my playing left my last four semi for the teams for the semi-finals, Pakistan is not in there, so I
Right.
hope they don't make it.
So actually, you had said India and South Africa and England and New Zealand, like when the World Cup
Right.
had just started.
Yes.
Um, मेरे वाले में, I think I'd put in Australia instead of England, I think,
Or New Zealand, I think.
or
England or
New
New
Zealand. Yeah,
Zealand.
instead of New
Yeah.
Zealand, I think.
Yeah.
So Australia's gone, but I think your prediction's been pretty spot on.
Uh,
Abhi bhi they're looking like favorites, but that point you said about Pakistan and spin in Sri Lanka, I think
hmm.
that was a big myth. जो वो India versus Pakistan match में मतलब it got burst for me.
डेफिनेटली इट इज. वही देखो, मेरे को पता क्या लगता है कि पाकिस्तानी प्लेयर्स, दे हैव गुड, पाकिस्तानी टीम हैज गुड प्लेयर्स, लाइक रियली गुड प्लेयर्स. बट
Right.
आई थिंक जब वो नहीं आता कि प्रेशर पे आके दे जस्ट कोलैप्स.
हाँ.
वो थे प्रेशर च आके ना कि इन्हां दे वो कहंदे आ पद निकल दे. सो
just
इन माय
just
ओपिनियन.
gonna take a moment here and translate that word. So pad is also known as pad in Hindi, which
हम्म.
I don't like, and it is also called as it is called fart in English.
हम्म. हम्म.
But my favorite version, hands down, is pad. It is the perfect use of consonants. It's got the perfect stress in the perfect places. My absolute favorite word in all of Punjabi language. Yes,
हम्म.
Ustad. Continue.
सो हाँ, मेरे हिसाब नाल यही है कि इनके वो उधर थोड़ा ना ज्यादा थोड़ी लुप लुपा जाती है इनकी
हाँ,
उस प्रेशर सिचुएशन में.
right,
तो उसके कारण तो मेरे को लगता है कि इस वैसे इनके पास दे हैव गुड पोटेंशियल, दे हैव हाई पोटेंशियल. सो
right.
इंडिया के खिलाफ मोस्टली आई थिंक इट्स जस्ट द प्रेशर दैट गेट्स अराउंड देम.
I think it's more so than the match. It is all the noise surrounding the match that really gets to them. And
हम्म.
गेम का प्रेशर इतना नहीं होता. लाइक इवन बिफोर द गेम बिगिंस ये और चीजों का इतना प्रेशर ले चुके होते हैं that they're not able to bring their best game.
Definitely. I am telling you, that does happen. Being able to play like at a level for myself as well. कि जब ना समय बोलते रहते हैं कुछ ना कुछ, like sometimes it's just like some people have that mindset of getting emotional rather
Right.
than taking a rational decision, and
हाँ,
that emotional decision that might be impacting Pakistan in these terms as well.
right.
Hmm.
And it is also going to be interesting that one of the matches in this Super 8. So Group 1 Super 8s is going to give us a match that is going to be a replay of the 2024 final. Group 2 is going to give us a match which is going to be a replay of the 2022 final, which is going to be Pakistan versus England.
That was a nice game as well. I still remember watching that game live. It was a
Yeah.
nice game.
So yeah, just a bit of trivia. Um, so Ustad, I just wanna know, like England is that one team, just but I've been really shaky. Like I can't trust this team. Not at all. Um, Baseball has backfired in very unique ways. But what makes you lean in favor of England, that England can actually qualify to the next stage? Like, is it their tactics? Is it some players that they have who are bringing something special to the ground? What exactly is it जो इंग्लैंड के बारे में आपको totally not confused, totally convince कर देता है?
It's probably the tactics, I'll say.
Right,
कि given that कि यार इन like इन ये नहीं होता कि मस्त मौला जे बंदे हैं.
right,
Like इनको फर्क नहीं पड़ा 4 विकेट गिर गई तो भी आके मैं तो बैट घुमा दूंगा भाई.
right,
आजा तू.
right,
So it's just like that fear, like fearless, like fearless,
right,
the batting lineup they have, and it's just like I think they don't give a shit.
right,
अगर हारेंगे तो हार के बुरी तरह भी हार सकते हैं अगर जीतेंगे तो वही जीत भी जाएंगे.
right,
Like we just like I think it's just like the carelessness. I know that sounds bad, but the carelessness and attitude that they bring around the game, I
right,
think that helps them to cope up with like high stake matches or in pressure situations.
right. So
कि
I mean,
भाई
what you're
देखी
trying to
जाओगी.
say is कि they're carefree, not careless, and
Yeah.
that helps elevate their game. कि जो पाकिस्तान को disadvantage होता है where they're taking so much pressure,
Hmm.
उसके opposite जो है वो इंग्लैंड कर रही है, which really brings out their A game.
Definitely, मेरे साथ तो यही है क्योंकि जो मैं like if you even see them playing Ashes or something,
Right,
भाई अभी इंग्लैंड विकेट गिरी है ठीक है. दो
right,
विकेट गिर चुकी है. हैरी ब्रुक आया है. पहली बॉल पे आके स्टार्क को स्टेप आउट करके मारने की ट्राई कर रहा था.
right.
और बाकी सारे रो रहे हैं कि आ की करी अंदा है और उसको फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता कि चल भाई आजा.
हाँ,
ही जस्ट लाइक आई एम हियर टू प्रूव अ पॉइंट कि हमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. दैट्स इट.
right.
हम्म.
And I want to spend some time on New Zealand also. Like New Zealand, I think no one can question their bowling. Their fielding is absolutely the gold standard. Like across this tournament, no team comes even remotely close to the level of fielding that New Zealand shows. Um, the
बट
bowling,
इसका बेचारे ग्लेन फिलिप्स ने एक कैच छोड़ दिया था ऐसे.
but bro, I think Glenn Phillips, like what used to be the case with a Suresh Raina or a Ravindra Jadeja in India, कि these are supermen on the field. तो एक आधा
हम्म.
कहीं अगर हो भी जाए तो that is almost like a God deliberately wanted them to miss a catch or
हम्म.
miss a boundary. Um, but even then, like I feel really confident about their fielding. The bowling, I think Mitch Santner hasn't been in peak form yet.
हम्म.
Like he's coming in, he's bowling his overs, but I do look at him and I feel like he's going through the motions.
नहीं नहीं,
Um,
मेरे को लगता है कि अभी ये तो खेल भी श्रीलंका में रहे ना. हो जाएगा हो जाएगा.
right,
ई सोडी एंड दिस मिचेल सैंटनर
right.
कर सकते हैं. हम्म.
I do have a lot of faith in Lockie Ferguson if they decide to play him. Because Lockie Ferguson, with his variations, has an advantage that no other bowler does. Like especially with his slower ones and his knuckle ball, वो श्रीलंका के
हम्म.
पिचेस में वो फंस कर आएंगी. I think it is really gonna trouble a lot of batsmen. Um, then again, who's their other bowler? Henry,
मैट हेनरी
Matt
एंड काइल
Henry.
जेमिसन.
Matt Henry again. He's been very bankable. Kyle Jamison, I think he was dropped from the team to make place for Jimmy Neesham or something.
आई थिंक हाँ शायद हाँ.
Right.
यही हुआ था शायद मेरे हिसाब से. हाँ.
Which I just feel like it is a terrible trade-off. Like
यार
any
नहीं
day
यार
of the year.
जिमी नेशम क्या बताएं जस्ट लाइक लोकल हीरो आई वुड से इन 2019 वर्ल्ड कप.
Right. But I mean, Jimmy Neesham, similar to another player who's played for Punjab, जिमी
हम्म.
नीशम की वही एग्जैक्ट सेम प्रॉब्लम है जो ग्लेन मैक्सवेल की थी कि when you expect them to do well, they are going to shit all over the place.
Hmm.
And when no one's expecting them to do anything, that is suddenly when they'll turn the match. Um,
Hmm.
I just feel in terms of bankability and reliability, Kyle Jamieson bowling his 4 overs, they are far more bankable. Like even if he doesn't do as much in his batting, but he brings so much with his bowling that you kind of find it easier to pick between one of these.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, the bowling looks pretty sorted. The batting is a bit of a concern because I look at that batting lineup, those 7, 8 players, and there are these names that immediately stand out for me. So there is a Glenn Phillips there is a Darren Mitchell there, and
Hmm.
there is Tim Seifert and Finn Allen. So four names that are absolute bangers.
इवन अब तो मार्क चैपमैन ने अच्छा खेला था यार, वैसे वो साउथ अफ्रीका के अगेंस्ट में मैच था।
Uh, I think with Mark Chapman, my only
और रीजन,
exposure to. Sorry,
सॉरी
go
फॉर
ahead.
दैट, इसका एक प्रॉब्लम उसका उसका है कंसिस्टेंसी दैट
Right,
ही लैक्स, सो दैट्स व्हाट आई
right.
विल ट्राई टू, या।
I mean, that is the problem that I wanted to talk about. That you've got four absolute gun players in your batting lineup, but then the other players kind of neutralize that impact. So, like, no matter how good a Tim Seifert or a Finn Allen, launches you into the innings, suddenly when you've got a Rachin Ravindra coming in, um, he takes your strike rate down, he brings the momentum down, and he kind of neutralizes it. But then you would have not a Mitchell. I think this guy comes before Mitchell, right? Um,
मार्क
Not Chapman. अभी यार जिसकी बात कर रहे थे, जिसकी मैं तारीफ कर रहा था.
फिन
Uh,
एलन और ग्लेन
Not
फिलिप।
Glenn Phillips. So
हम्म।
then a Glenn Phillips will come in who knows how to go from first gear to the fifth.
हम्म।
Like he can do it within 3 balls. Daryl Mitchell is not the ideal T20 player, but for some reason he is really loving playing in the subcontinent. Like he's
हम्म।
playing spin really well with all of his sweep shots and his reverse sweeps and everything.
हम्म।
But आई जस्ट फील कि ये पूरी बैटिंग लाइनअप में वो एक या दो प्लेयर्स जो नहीं चल रहे हैं न्यूजीलैंड के लिए,
हम्म।
वो बाकी सबका भी किया धरा जो है देर खत्म करके जा
दैट्स
रहे हैं.
दैट्स व्हाट्स हैपनिंग आई थिंक कि हाँ, मिचेल सैंडनर भी अभी इतना, जितना वो एक्सप्लोसिव भी देख, ही कैन हिट शॉट्स राइट, वो
राइट,
इतना वो भी नहीं कर पा रहा, बट
राइट,
डेफिनेटली आई थिंक दे विल कम राइट।
राइट. So yeah, I mean, for me again, I think Ustad, I totally agree with you. जो टॉप फोर तुमने बोले थे सेमीफाइनल्स के लिए, ऑस्ट्रेलिया's out. This feels most likely. Sri Lanka, as much as I'd like to see them go to the next level, I don't think they can go there. They're going to struggle, especially वो जिम्बाब्वे वाली गेम के बाद. I do feel कि जिम्बाब्वे का ऑस्ट्रेलिया के अगेंस्ट तुक्का नहीं लगा था, बट शायद श्रीलंका का ऑस्ट्रेलिया के अगेंस्ट तुक्का लगा है.
हो सकता है, हो सकता है।
Right,
दैट्स अ गुड कॉल, आई डिडंट थिंक अबाउट इट बट दैट्स अ गुड कॉल।
right. Um, so yeah, and now we've spoken enough about these teams in Group Two. Talking about Group One, and we've spoken about West Indies and Zimbabwe, so we need to talk about the favorites, not just of the group, but also the favorites to win this World Cup, which is India and South Africa, which is going to be the first fixture of the Super Eights, and that match is going to happen tomorrow. Um,
हम्म।
so, Ustad, big expectations from this game. What are your initial thoughts?
भाई नींद उड़ जाएगी मेरे तो, है भी रात को, पर मेरा, आई थिंक, एक, इफ आई कुड, मेरा,
Right,
आई हैव वर्क द नेक्स्ट मॉर्निंग,
right,
बट इफ आई डिडंट हैव दैट आई वुड हैव स्टेड अवेक
right,
एंड वॉच द होल मैच।
right.
सो, और मैं ये किसी मैच के लिए नहीं कर सकता, मैं अपना, अब मे बी द फाइनल, बट आई एम सेइंग नथिंग एल्स वुड लाइक कीप मी अवेक अंटिल 4 a.m. in the morning.
Right,
That will probably, कि force me कि भाई ये मैच देखना ही देखना है,
right,
because that match is gonna bring so many different, events, like roller coaster of events. एक frame पे like it's gonna go up, but then it might be a sudden downfall as well.
right.
Like who knows? Yeah.
Um, I do. feel like India's played the last two bilaterals in T20. So
Hmm.
abhi the last one was against New Zealand, and New
Hmm.
Zealand से immediately पहले वाली जो थी that was against South Africa,
Hmm.
and I think that was a far superior T20 series because both the teams were so neck to neck.
Hmm.
So I've got high hopes from this game. But
Even after the last World Cup, they're facing each other for the first time in a World Cup match.
right,
So I think और उसका रिडेम्पशन शायद लेना चाहेंगे, इसको दिखाना चाहेंगे बेटा एक बार तो चलो हमें हरा दिया, वैसा थोड़ी कि तुम फिर से हराओगे।
right. एंड आई
हम्म।
थिंक साउथ अफ्रीका को अभी जैसे पंजाबी में कहते हैं उनको वो जांच आ गई है हाउ टू विन ट्रॉफीज एंड हाउ टू लाइक
हम्म।
क्लोज दोस क्रिस्प मैचेस.
Yeah, definitely. Abhi, like they used to call them the chokers. Even in the Afghanistan versus South Africa match.
राइट,
देखा जाए, like given that their name, they would have choked. They
राइट,
should like पर अभी नहीं किया. So I
राइट,
think they after that, winning one trophy literally changed the mindset.
राइट,
And उनका मेरे ख्याल से सिक्का पलट जाता है, पलट गया उनका बस वो।
राइट. आई थिंक इट वाज दे ऑलवेज गॉट टू दैट 99%. वो 1% जो था वो
हम्म।
इन्होंने WTC के बाद से दे जस्ट नो कि वो लास्ट का 1% जो है वो कैसे डाला जाता है.
हम्म।
So Ustad, talking about India, of course, our matches so far in the group stage, they've been against um, all the matches, they've been kind of one-sided. Like US ने थोड़ा सा फंसाया था, but otherwise they've been one-sided. There are no alarm bells as such. कोई areas of concern as such नहीं है at a very broad level. But मैचेस देखकर कुछ ऐसा भी नहीं लगा है कि इंडिया की किसी विक्ट्री में उतना ऐसे मजा आया या ऐसा लगा हो कि हाँ मतलब ये विक्ट्री जो है वी अर्नड दिस विक्ट्री. लाइक मोस्ट ऑफ द विक्ट्रीज दे जस्ट फेल्ट लाइक दे वर अ गिवन. सो डू यू थिंक इन दिस मैच इंडिया विल गेट द फर्स्ट रियल टेस्ट जहां इनको एक्चुअली अच्छा क्रिकेट खेलकर और मैच जो है निकालना पड़ेगा?
नहीं, मेरे हिसाब से सही बात है, क्योंकि बाकी टीम से इतनी दे वर नॉट दैट ग्रेट ऑफ अ टीम जिनके
राइट,
साथ मैचेस हुए थे।
राइट,
ठीक है, अभिषेक का ना परफॉर्म करना वाज एक्सेप्टेबल इन दोज मैचेस, चल ठीक है भाई, कोई ना कोई कर लेगा।
राइट,
बट दैट दिस मैच लिटरली पुट्स इन गुड प्रेशर ऑन हिम,
राइट,
सेइंग दैट कि भाई बेटा अब हो गया टाइम, वो हो
राइट,
गया जो तुमने खेल रहे थे जो बच्चों वाली गेम। नाउ यू नीड टू मैन अप एंड नीड टू शो समथिंग इन दिस
राइट,
मैच, बिकॉज इफ यू डोंट प्रूव योरसेल्फ हियर देन देयर इज सम कंसर्न इन योर व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन कि तुम वर्ल्ड कप के लिए बने हो सिर्फ, या तुम सिर्फ एग्जीबिशन मैचेस के लिए बने हो।
राइट.
हम्म।
I mean, one thing to note here is that even though India's prime batsman has gone for ducks, the Indian team has still managed to almost touch the 200 mark match after match after match,
हम्म।
which is testament to how deep this batting lineup is and how they're able to absorb all of that pressure. And I would also feel like Abhishek has that high risk, high reward style of play. So, कि जिस दिन बैट पर कनेक्ट होनी शुरू हो गई बॉल, उस दिन 50 तो ऐसे ही आ जाएगा विद इन द पावर प्ले. और जिस दिन नहीं चला उस दिन सीधा डक्स आएंगे. बट आई डू एग्री दैट आई मिस Abhishek's explosion, in the opening rather than seeing someone like a Dube or a Rinku giving us those explosions towards the end of the innings.
नहीं, वो बहुत फर्क पड़ता है यार, देखा जाए कि इफ इंडिया गेट्स अप टू अ गुड स्टार्ट, इट मेक्स इट इजियर फॉर द अदर बैट्समैन
Right,
एज वेल, कि अगर यार आगे पता लग गया कि पावर प्ले में 60-70 रन आ गए हैं,
right,
ठीक है, उसके बाद भी हमारे बाय द एंड ऑफ 12 ओवर्स वी ऑलरेडी आर अराउंड 100,
right,
गिव्स देम द फ्रीडम कि चल भाई
right,
अब मारेंगे।
right,
कि अगर पर उसी हो पता लगे कि यार 12 ओवर में रनिंग हमारे 70 कुछ है, 70-80 रन है, और हमारी विकेट्स भी गिर चुकी हैं, तीन चार
right,
चार विकेट्स गिर चुके हैं, देन इट्स हार्ड फॉर देम टू रिस्क इट ऑल।
right.
हम्म।
Um, Another question that I want to ask is के अभिषेक के टॉपिक पर is that Abhishek has lost his wicket to Aryan Dutt. I think that was the name of the Dutch spinner.
हम्म।
and then he lost his wicket to Salman Ali Agha. I'm forgetting who took his wicket against US.
Probably.
Was it a spinner again?
Was it a spinner? I don't think so. It was a spinner. It
Right.
was a fast bowler.
Right. But my point being that kahin na kahin what got exposed against Pakistan was utilized in that match against Netherlands. And आगे जो आने वाली teams हैं against South Africa, West Indies, Zimbabwe, they've got their spinners as well. So do you think Abhishek Sharma struggles to play spin with the new
ओ
ball?
नहीं 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 वो चल नहीं रहा उसका वो सिक्का जो ट्राई कर रहा है।
Right,
आई डोंट थिंक सो लाइक गिवन दैट कि यार उसने स्पिनर्स को तो कितने लंबे लंबे छक्के मारे हुए हैं।
right,
लाइक वो उसका he doesn't struggle against like a prop like a thing anyway. I haven't seen him struggle, so I think, but मेरे को लगता नहीं है कि it doesn't affect that thing कि वो कभी कभार चलो बॉल फंस के आती है ना। आई थिंक he gets too excited कि भाई फील्डर अंदर है कि मार के दिखाते हैं।
right,
वो कभी कभार it doesn't you need sometimes you need some 3-4 balls to yourself,
right,
you know, कि मारने से पहले।
right.
So I think in this match he should try at least scoring 7-8 runs or something, फिर
Right.
जाके अपना वो कर ले शुरू।
Because जो जो मतलब मेरे को लग रहा था that is basically that Abhishek Sharma in all the bilateral matches and everything, even in the IPL,
हम्म
he plays in the power play and he rarely bats beyond the eighth over. मतलब his job is done by the eighth over, and which means that in terms of conventional T20 strategy, your power play overs are majorly bowled by your fast bowlers. कोई एक आधा जो है लाइक द फिफ्थ ओवर और द सिक्स्थ ओवर विल गेट बोल्ड बाय अ स्पिनर। इस बार ही वर्ल्ड कप में पार्शली पिचेस उस टाइप की आई जहां इट इज हेल्पिंग द स्पिनर्स आल्सो विद द न्यू बॉल। सो
हम्म
टीम्स कैन अफोर्ड टू टेक दैट काइंड ऑफ अ कॉल के हम स्पिनर से बॉल डलवाएंगे विद इन द पावर प्ले इवन दो द फील्डर्स आर इन।
मेरा I always was in support of the fact कि स्पिनर को पावर प्ले में ओवर देने चाहिए, and I was in like way back since 2021 or 2022 because when I saw Akhil Hussain with bowling spin with the new ball,
राइट,
and I don't think so a lot of people noticed, but वो बंदा he's a left arm spinner, right?
राइट,
But with the new ball what he can do is he can either spin the ball,
राइट,
ठीक है, फॉर अ राइट हैंडेड बैट्समैन आउटसाइड, लाइक वो उसको आउटसाइड ऑफ मतलब लेग पे पिच करके बाहर को निकाल दे,
राइट,
ठीक है, एंड ही कैन ड्रिफ्ट इट इन एज वेल कि
ओके,
भाई वो डाल फोर्थ फोर्थ फिफ्थ स्टंप से रहा है, वो लगे उसके लेग स्टंप पे रही है जाके बॉल।
राइट,
सो ही होल्ड्स इट लाइक दिस एंड ही पुशेस लाइक एन इन स्विंगर।
राइट,
So yeah, I think a lot of people never notice, but I was noticing. I was like, this can be a game changer because sometimes it's really hard to notice कि भाई पहले तुम सोच रहे हो उसको अच्छा स्पिन डाल देगा, थोड़ी स्लो करके हवा में लूप करके थोड़ा उसको बाहर निकाल देगा, पर बीच में
राइट,
क्या पता वो तीखी तीखी ड्रिफ्ट करा दे अंदर को।
राइट,
And that used to trouble, like that used to be a struggle for a lot of batsmen.
राइट। But if that like the point that I'm trying to make here is कि अगर spin actually Abhishek Sharma के against नहीं work करती और like he's gotten too used to playing pace in like the first 6 overs जब ball थोड़ी नई है and you know it's coming on nicely. uh, Abhishek will have to find ways because all the teams in our group they have some phenomenal spinners like even Zimbabwe जिनका नहीं भी पता है, but I think Sikandar Raza he's a spinner, right, a part-time spinner,
ये- हाँ हाँ, वो तो उसने ओपन भी की थी बॉलिंग
right.
उस मैच में।
And then with West Indies I think they've got a decent spinner as well. I don't really remember a lot of their players. And South Africa again, if it is Keshav Maharaj or who's that other bowler, Linda.
जॉर्ज लिंड।
Yeah. So I think फंसाने के chances हैं. Abhishek will have to work on his game a little and like you said, take those 8 to 10 balls to just ease into the innings, get a feel of the ball on the bat and then
हम्म
start smacking it because ये बंदे की पावर इतनी है कि फील्ड अगर खुल भी जाए, if he strikes it well, you know कि उधर फील्डर खड़ा भी है, it is still gonna go out of the ground.
डेफिनेटली, नहीं नहीं नहीं, वो आई थिंक ही हैज दैट एबिलिटी, ही कैन डू दैट।
Right,
कि उसके पास लाइक यार उसको आई थिंक इट नेवर बॉदर्स हिम कि बाउंड्री कितनी लंबी है क्या है।
right,
He has that belief in him, and he can definitely hit the ball really hard and out of the ground.
right. Um, so on that note, Ustad, what are your predictions for this match?
ये मेरी दोनों फेवरेट टीम्स हैं। But given that you know हम हैं तो इंडिया को सपोर्ट ही करते हैं, so I want India to win this match,
Right,
but it's gonna be a really competitive match।
right.
कि मजा आएगा इसको देखने में मेरे हिसाब से।
Huh,
Unless it just gets one-sided, but I don't think so। It like the chances are it won't be a one-sided match।
right,
Both of the teams are gonna give it all।
right. Um, so Ustad, let's start with the power play predictions for both the teams. So you start with the power play predictions, and once we lock those in, then I'll start with the players prediction. So this time I get to pick Arshdeep.
Okay, okay, cool। So I'll say India's gonna score 50, 50, 50 runs, I'll say 50।
Okay,
50 for the loss of 2 wickets।
okay. So both the
Uh,
openers heading in first.
नो, जरूरी थोड़ी है कि वो ओपनर ही जान, एक अद्धा ओपनर ईशान किशन चला गया तो होर चला जाऊंगा।
Huh.
ते आई वांट कि अभिषेक कर ले। आई वांट अभिषेक टू परफॉर्म इन दिस वन।
Okay.
Okay, but this is one of the things. And second is South Africa is gonna score around, let's say, I'll say they score around 53 for the loss of 2 wickets again. Same.
So India, you said 57 for two,
50 for two.
50 for two, and
Hmm.
these ones go at 53 for two.
Hmm.
Okay. I think India is gonna go with 65 for zero. All right, Ustad, so sorry about that, and thanks so much for bearing with me. Apparently, it turns out that Airtel is really fucked up today, and it's fucking up with our recording as well.
अरे
But
कोई नहीं, होता रहता।
Ustad, the final prediction. So you've given me your power play predictions, and
Hmm.
I said India is going to be 65 for zero. And
ओए, शाबाश।
yeah,
I hope you're right।
yeah, for the sake of
Hmm.
India. Um, South Africa, I feel, is gonna be 59 for one.
Okay. Still, you're going for around 10 runs and over. That might be it as well. Who knows?
Yeah. My only problem being that the match is in Ahmedabad, so like the ground is a little on the smaller side, but
Hmm.
in the last match it was really assisting the spinners. So like, um, I don't know, but I think it's still possible. So that's my power play prediction. Um,
Hmm.
and then we got to do players to watch out for from both the teams. Um,
Hmm.
so Indian bowler, I think it's gonna be Arshdeep. He's really gonna enjoy bowling on this pitch. And finally, I get to pick
Okay.
yours. Um,
Hmm.
in terms of the batsmen, I think Abhishek Sharma is gonna be back in form. And उसने पिछले 2-3 मैचेस सबका उसने हिसाब पूरा करना है.
Hmm.
He's really gonna smack the ball around. For me, it's those two players from India. From
Hmm.
South Africa, I would say that Aiden Markram is that player. Like big, he's a big occasion player, and
अरे आए करो ना जेडे मैं लेने लग चलो फिर मैंने छड्डिया की है।
all right. If not him, I don't want to
नहीं
pick
चक लो,
Ripulke.
no, just pick Aiden Markram, that's fine। I'll go for someone else।
Huh. Nee, otherwise I would have
चलो
called the speaker, the keeper. What's his name? Mumbai
क्विंटन
wale
डिकॉक।
Quinton de Kock.
या ओके।
Uh,
नहीं
so
नहीं, you can go for him।
okay, so for me it's gonna be Aiden Markram, and it's gonna be Marco Yar.
जो भी चक लेना मैं ठीक है, ओके जी, ओके, ठीक है, ठीक है। ओके। Okay. Okay, for me, I'll say India. I wanted to go Abhishek, but as you already picked Abhishek, I'll say it's gonna be Surya Kumar Yadav.
Ah, I thought you would say Ishan Kishan.
See, फिर वही गल है ना, फिर मेरी प्रिडिक्शन गलत हो जाएगी कि आई रियली वांट कि फिर गल है कि जे मैं ईशान किशन कहता फिर अभिषेक नहीं परफॉर्म करूंगा क्योंकि
Right,
मेरे प्रिडिक्शन के हिसाब ਨਾਲ 2 विकेट गिन गया.
right.
So I'd want to say Ishan as well, but फिर I just don't want you to feel bad कि अभिषेक आउट हो जाएगा.
True. Guys, I'm
So
I'm too
that,
superstitious. I'm too superstitious when it comes to sport. It's not my fault. Just
so
spread the
that's why
word.
so that's why I go for Surya Kumar Yadav.
Huh.
For bowlers, I'll say Jasprit Bumrah.
Okay, yeah, that's a good call actually. Jussie
Hmm.
on home turf is like a different man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For South Africa. I don't think so people are gonna expect me to say this, but I wanna say it's gonna be uh Tristan Stubbs.
Oh.
I don't think so. I was confused between Ryan Rickleton and Tristan Stubbs, but I think Ryan Rickleton को फंसाना easy है. Like he's playing good अभी तक तो, but I think it's far more easier to get उसको जान से मिले ना than
Right,
Tristan Stubbs. I think Tristan Stubbs can do something.
right. And the bowler?
Bowler is gonna be Lungi Nagiri.
Okay, that's a good call actually. Um,
Given his variation, he's really good at his variation, and that might put some Indian batsmen off.
yeah. But dude, I just realized there is this one batsman that neither of us even mentioned. And I
Devol
think,
Brevis.
yes, I think he's gonna be
यार
pretty influential.
उन्हें भी अभिषेक वाला हाल ही है तीनों कुछ तीन मैच
True.
कुछ नहीं किया उन्हें.
बट इसीलिए तो मैं कह रहा हूँ स्टेक्स इतने हाई हैं कि अगर अभिषेक ने पिछले 3 मैचेस का हिसाब अगर पूरा करना है,
हम्म.
Devold Brevis also like a player who plays for Chennai Super Kings in the IPL is accustomed to these slowish pitches, and then you give him a smaller ground than a chip off. Um,
हम्म.
I think it is a recipe for destruction.
हो सकता है. I hope so. I
Right,
hope I like watching the player. I've seen him in person playing.
right.
ਉਹ ਜੇ ਸਪਿਨਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਜੇ ਵੱਟ ਚੜ ਗਿਆ ਹੋ ਉਹਨੇ
Huh,
ਲੰਬੇ ਲੰਬੇ ਟਕਾ ਕੇ ਮਾਰਨੇ ਆ
huh,
ਬਿਨਾਂ ਦੇਖੇ he's gonna play those no look shots and stuff. ਮਾਰਨਾ ਉਹਨੇ ਚਲਾ ਕੇ ਮਾਰਨਾ ਸਪਿਨਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ
huh,
ਫਿਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਦਾ ਉਹ ਜੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਬੈਟ ਤੇ ਆਣ ਲੱਗ ਜੇ.
huh.
So he's definitely a player to watch out for. Let's put it in our honorable mention, the Wall Brevis.
Right. Okay, let's do that. So Devold Brevis is that one name जिस पर हम दोनों जो है एग्री करते हैं.
ठीक है.
All right. So guys, whatever your predictions are, your power play predictions, who are the players that you think are the players to watch out for in this game, please don't forget to drop them in the comments. And if you've got any questions for us, please use the hashtag AskUstad and drop your question in the comment, and we'll take that up in our next episode. Ustad, any final thoughts before we end this episode?
मैं तो कहना बस यार सानू थोड़ी सपोर्ट दे दो और थोड़ी जी ਨੂੰ. Let's hope कि हमें थोड़ी एक्स्ट्रा लाइक्स मिलने शुरू हो जाए.
Right.
यार ਅਸੀਂ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਆਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਯਾਰ ਗੱਡੀ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟ ਸ਼ੂਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆਂ. ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਡੀ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਸਾਈਡ ਤੇ ਲਈ ਹੈ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਬਟ ਸਟਿਲ ਆਈ ਨੋ ਗੈਟ ਇਨ caught in the car and just to shoot this podcast. So
Seriously.
please, you know, help us out.
आज की वीडियोस been really testing. उस्ताद जो है he just finished his match, got in his car, found a parking
Hmm.
lot, and उधर गाड़ी लगाकर he started recording. And I am
Hmm.
hosting this show on an absolutely unreliable Wi-Fi today. Like abhi I've switched over to hotspot. So guys, your support means a great deal to us. We really value your feedback. So please
Yeah,
join our
देखो
community, spread the word.
देख देखो यार एफर्ट पा रहे हैं मुंडे यार मुंडे ने थोड़ा ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਥੋੜਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ.
True. Pretty please. All right. So that was the episode, guys. We are gonna join you after the match is done. We are gonna put the next episode day after tomorrow. That would be Monday. Start. How's Monday looking for you?
बिल्डिंग है और की है साडी मेरा मर्जी कर लो कॉल मंडे मेरी ट्रेनिंग है
Huh.
आफ्टर ट्रेनिंग वी कैन शूट
Right. So Monday night, most likely, we would be putting out a video of the post-match analysis for India versus South Africa, and we will also be
दैट्स
touching
करेक्ट
upon the match that's gonna happen in like 45 minutes. Sorry, in 12 minutes, which is the first match that Pakistan's playing right now. Um, and we will be touching upon the other upcoming matches. Um, so, once again, guys, thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you on the next episode.
थैंक यू थैंक यू थैंक यू सरन धन्यवाद सरन